Bob, I know, Warren. Few of them I don't know.
Now Hillary, I don't know, the top four, well, the top 3 or 4 there, I sold houses to or did stuff with.
David Paolisi.
Yeah, I don't know.
God, I know Warren good. He was
Yeah.
on the planning board when I was on the council. Bob Moreau, yeah, Alan Hardy, Mike Carpenter. He's still active?
Yeah,
Sure, Mike used to live just down the street from me.
yep, he's still there.
Yeah.
He sold his kids a place, I guess.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Can everybody hear me?
I can hear you, Michael.
This is David Palino. I can hear you.
Hi, David. Thanks.
Hi, Mike.
Hi, David. Long time no see.
Hi.
It's Joanna.
Yeah, hi, Joanna. I'll be seeing you next month.
Yes.
Hi, Mike.
Hey,
No, I want, you gotta get on with Woody. Oh, no.
Michael suggested we come here because I think if you weren't
I
going
can't
to
see this thing.
Yeah,
soon.
this is perfect.
First of all, I'm gonna make it. There you are, you're on.
Bring Patty back.
Hey.
You want me back? All right,
We could hear you, Patty.
how's that?
Hi, Patty.
Hi,
Patty.
without me, he can't work this.
she's the town council president.
Oh, yeah.
All because the computer went kaput.
Get down. Get down. Daddy, come on, over here. Come over here. Come over here.
Which lady is that? Lady-
Helen Hard,
lady-
Helen.
Now, on that tablet, it's your Senate, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hi, Hillary.
Oof. It doesn't look right.
Hello.
Hi, Helen.
Maybe it is.
Hi, Mike. Hi, Hillary.
Hi, Helen.
Hi, Joanna.
I just sent it to you.
Hi.
Hi, Joanna.
Hi.
Helen,
Hi,
I'm
George.
not the same without your cookies.
I know.
I know, I'm so sorry.
No snacks.
No.
Helen, you can leave them at town hall and I'll distribute them.
Oh, there you go. In town hall, right?
I didn't say that.
Never see them.
Yeah, my baking is off because otherwise Jed and I would wait too much.
So I had good music going.
Oh, you want to come in here? In here and.
So we got Hillary, George, Mike,
We're missing
Helen,
Anthony,
right, Anthony, Warren, yeah.
Warren, David.
Does anyone know if those areas lost power?
I don't know.
Summer Hill Road is still on. I heard that. It's still on. I'm still on here on Central Pike.
We just blinked.
Yeah, that's all we did.
Lots of damage out there tonight.
Oh, there is?
Yeah.
On
Some
Route
kind of Approaching a microburst, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not right here. Yeah, we were worried about that. We were prepared, but wasn't that bad. Can I just ask, who is, oh, Mr. Brewer, you have the application for the, on Plainfield Pike. Okay.
Correct.
A second on the agenda, but the first.
And it's Peter Brewer, right?
It is.
Peter, I'm the secretary, so I have to get everybody's name down, okay?
Glad to meet you.
Glad to meet you.
First thing is the auto sales. Mihailides is running it for Danny Police now. Danny's passed. So he was asking for something, but I guess it's been pushed off. Okay.
We're missing both the chair and the vice chair, so we can't have somebody else call the meeting to order.
Yeah, Anthony just emailed me. I got to send him the information. He should be on shortly.
Okay. That's usually me. Wait, where are you? We're missing a couple of people.
Looks like David's joining us.
Michael, did you know David Westcott? He was planner in North Providence.
No.
He passed just a couple months ago. I went to high school with him. He was a
Oh.
good friend and very well regarded planner.
Well, that's too bad. I'm sorry to hear that.
As we get older, those things happen. You're getting older, Brian, every day. Beats the alternative, though. Yeah.
Well, no, that we don't know, Brian.
Well, that's true.
I'm hoping for the best.
I agree with you.
Warren, I see that you're on.
Yeah, trying to get the video to load.
Okay, here comes Anthony shortly.
There we go.
There we are.
Here he is. Hello, Anthony.
Sorry about that, sports fans. The weather kind of messed me all up a little bit. Knocked out my computer, but I'm back. And I could find everything I needed, Michael, but the agenda with with the ID on it.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Is everybody
Everybody's here, Anthony.
everybody still have their power?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
So,
Did we have a roll call? Did we start the meeting at all?
we have not.
No, we're just waiting for you to start, Anthony. It's just 7:06. So are we starting now?
We can start right now.
Okay.
Uh,
Present Anthony Renzi,
Present.
Warren,
Present?
Mike Carpenter,
Present.
Hillary, Downs Fortune, David Paolisi,
Present.
George Sacco.
I'm here. Nice to see everybody again.
Also, Helen Hardy, Secretary, Michael Antonella, Town Planner, Joanna Achilles, Solicitor. There are some town officials here. There are some town applicants here, and Peter Brewer and Joe Carey, members of the public. And does anybody see somebody I missed?
So with me in the room is Brian Carpenter and Mr.
Okay.
Davis representing 6 Anthony Road. So when we get to them.
Okay. All right. I guess We don't need do we need my hearing, do we need to hear the hearing procedures?
We need to do the approval of minutes.
Okay. I don't have my agenda in front of me, so I'll have to do it by
Okay.
memory. Unless somebody has, you can do
It's
it.
the minutes, Anthony, approving of the minutes of the last meeting, September 16th.
Okay, do I have the approval of the minutes from our last meeting?
Can somebody move that?
Can I have a
Move to
motion?
approve minutes of September 16th, 2020.
Do I have a second?
Second, David.
Thank you, David.
All in favor?
We need a roll call. Sorry.
Oh, sorry. I like that saying, all in favor.
I like, yeah, me too. I've actually got this streamlined a little better now. Warren,
Affirmative.
Mike,
Aye.
Hillary,
Aye.
David,
Yes.
George.
Who?
George, do you approve the minutes?
Oh,
George, you
looks
have
like,
your video turned off.
yeah, I can see him, but I can't hear him. It looks like he said yes.
George, you're muted.
I think he was.
Down to the corner. There you go. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're saying aye. Okay, Anthony.
Yes.
Okay, and me too. So that's 7-0.
Okay.
Next is correspondence.
Do we have any correspondence? Anybody have
So
any?
yeah, Anthony, I had circulated Bob Moreau had sent in some information from the Economic Development Committee, if I'm not, the Foster Economic Development Advisory Commission back in, we have something dated 2005, September of 2005. And I think there was another attachment to that as well. So just nothing really for discussion tonight, but that was distributed to the board, so you all have it for reference. Bob wanted you guys to have that.
I must have missed that. I told you my computer went on the fritz. Everything is dead, and I just went and get a backup computer to pull this up. If you want to send my iPad is actually what's working right now. If you want to send me that, Michael, today, tomorrow, if you think we need it right now.
I'll send that to you again, just specifically so that you have it.
Okay, thank you.
The rest of the board, you should have received that in the just packet that I sent out. It was among the materials, so just
Yep.
correspondence for your reference. And then the only other thing we had was just something that Mike had prepared for a future, an agenda item that's further down, so we won't go over that now.
Why did I not get that? Can you, Michael, would it be real hard for you to send me the agenda?
I'll send you everything. I'll send you everything right now.
Okay.
If you want to just hold tight.
I'm sorry, folks. Living in Foster, the weather's terrible.
And you're especially vulnerable where you are, Anthony.
Yeah, it got me. I'm surprised. I lost power for a while, then it came back on. But I hope everybody's okay. Okay, I mean, somebody have an agenda in front of them.
Yep. So the next item up is the public hearing for the commercial site plan Partners Auto Auction. We did receive correspondence from the attorney William Nguyen requesting that the public hearing be continued to our next meeting of 10/21.
I did see that.
Somebody needs to move to do that.
So, yeah, if we could have a motion.
A motion to grant request for continuance to October 16th, 2020.
21.
21, I'm sorry.
And a second.
Second,
Who seconded, please?
David.
David, thank you. David, I appreciate
welcome.
when you tell me because I can't tell and we don't have your video, so I can't see you either.
Okay, I will. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay, and so a vote. Roll call, right?
Yep.
Warren,
Ain't they supposed to have video? on it?
Affirmative.
So it's confirmed that it's
Mike
them?
Carpenter,
Aye.
I can't get it to go on.
Yeah, this is not on there.
Hillary,
Aye.
Oh, my God.
David,
Yes.
Thank you, George. Okay. Oh, George, you recused, right?
Yes, yes, you would recuse from this, correct, George?
Yes, he is recusing. I'm reading his lips.
Okay.
And Anthony.
Yes.
Okay, and me too. So that's 6-0-1 with George recusing.
David's voice.
Why can't I get this video going?
We'll get David's voice with George's video.
There you go.
Do it together and we'll get 2 for 1.
Yeah, right, there you go.
I got a little doggy on a David Paolino picture here. Oh, David Paolino, that's somebody different. That's a guy running. Okay.
David Paolino with the candidate who's checking us out.
We got the Republicans are on the video tonight.
Can we try to fix the issues for David and George before we continue?
My video won't let me turn it on.
You hitting your little video button, Dave?
Yeah, I can hit it, but it stays with the red bar on it. Should I log off and log on again, maybe?
You can try that.
Well, give me a minute. Sorry.
You just muted, it says.
No, it won't. If I hit stop video, it doesn't come off. There's a red line in front of it.
Yeah, but shouldn't you get out of both of them?
I can't even get out.
David, I'm just gonna, maybe I can just put you in the waiting room. Maybe that'll help, and then I'll readmit you.
Can you hear me now, guys?
Yeah.
Yes, George, thank you.
The log off and log back in worked for me anyway.
Okay, great.
David, are you on?
Yeah, I'm on. It's just buffering all the time.
Oh, yeah, I don't have video on you.
Yeah, it just keeps buffering. I got the buffer circle going constantly here.
Maybe there's an issue locally with the internet connection.
Must be. Yeah, I can't get on. Turn the video on.
No, you can't vote.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
Hi, David.
Okay.
Hello, how are you, Mike?
Good.
Hi, David.
Hi, Ian. How are you?
Okay. Where were we?
We're on item F.
See, George, it was me.
I think it was both of us, Dave.
If you can do me a favor, Joanna, you just go down the items. What's coming, because I lost everything on my computer.
I got it. So the next item up is the minor subdivision application for 6 Anthony Road, Assessor's Plat 14, Lot 95D. I believe that the owner, applicant, Mr. Floyd Davis, is present with Mike at Town Hall, and also with him is Brian Carpenter, who is going to be speaking as his expert. He is a real estate agent. And everybody should have received the survey. There was a formal class 1. It should have been in your packet.
Survey, yes.
Right there.
And Joanna, it is not obviously this is not a public hearing, but I can read the hearing procedure if you think that's beneficial at this point. Okay, that's fine. We'll just turn it over then.
Mm-hmm.
Anthony, how do you want to proceed? Do you want to just turn it over to the applicants and have them explain their application? How do you want to start?
Yeah, that'll be fine.
Okay, I'm just going to turn my computer around and you're going to see Brian and Mr. Davis.
Floyd, if you would just address the board and tell them that you are here and I'm going to provide the testimony on your behalf.
Hi, board. This is Floyd Davis speaking, and I am leaving everything in the hands of Brian Carpenter.
And it should be noted for the record that Mr. Davis has power of attorney to execute on the application.
For Susan Deaett, who I believe is his daughter.
Correct.
Yep.
First off, on August 6, 1992, Lot 95 was subdivided into 3 lots. At that time, they were called Parcel A, which was 4.591 acres, which is now called Lot 95C. Parcel B was 13.263 acres, which was now called Parcel 95E. And Parcel C, which was 5 acres, which is what's now called 95D. So this was, what we're asking for tonight was actually created on August 6, 1992. The planning board chairman at the time was Stephen Fusco, who signed off on the survey, which was recorded on September 23rd of 1992 in Plat Book 4, page 34. So it was created once before. However, after that point in time, on July 18th of 1996, the parcel that we're asking to create now was added to 95D. Floyd's daughter and her husband had already built their house, and he added that parcel of land to them to just give them more acreage. Unfortunately, now Floyd's son-in-law has passed away, and his daughter is in the nursing home, and we're asking to redivide the property back to the way it was as a 5-acre piece with a house and a 13.26 acre parcel with 727-foot frontage just to the south of the house as a buildable home site. In reviewing the planner's comments, I wanted to address 3 different things. First off, there was a concern about sightline of the gravel driveway. This has 727-foot road frontage. The road is fairly straight. There is a little bend in it. However, there are no wetlands on the front end of this property, way back past the building site. So we can locate that. It was drawn in just as a courtesy and to show that it's not going to cross over the septic system. However, when it comes time to be sold and a buyer is going to build on that parcel, they would have to meet with the highway director to get a curb cut, and if they would address any of those concerns at that time. The second thing I wanted to bring up was, it was brought up in these notes about combining driveways of adjacent lots. And I know back in time, that was a very popular item with the planning board here. We did it on Maple Rock Road. And
it was more the compounds, Brian. It wasn't individual lots so much.
Well, we did it on Maple Rock Road. We accessed 2 separate lots with the driveway right on the lot line.
That was a sightline thing.
No, I think it was a shared driveway thing, to be honest, but
okay.
I live on a shared driveway and I wouldn't recommend it for anyone. I get along good with my neighbor, however.
That changes real quick.
Right, you never know.
That changes real quick.
Yeah, if I could just interject real quick, this is Mike, the planner. I think that was just a part of the review criteria. That was not a suggestion of mine to combine driveways. In fact, I wouldn't suggest that in this case.
It was on here, so I wanted to address it, so that's good news. I also spoke to Michael about, he had a concern about the stone walls along Anthony Road, and he and I talked about agreeing to a 12-foot opening and leaving the remainder of the wall intact. Depending on where the driveway comes in, it may not affect wall. If you're looking at your map, the further south you go, there is no stone wall there. But if if in fact they do choose to break the wall to access the property, we would restrict it to a 12-foot opening and leave the rest of the wall intact.
And this, if I could just interject again, this is Mike, the planner. I had prepared a draft motion for the board tonight, and in that I listed conditions. One of the conditions just noted that when breaking through the stone wall, to limit the opening to 5 feet on either side of the driveway apron. So not limiting it necessarily 12 feet, but 5 feet I think gives it a good berth, a wide berth coming out onto the street that wouldn't affect sightline, or wouldn't if you were to veer off slightly from the driveway, you wouldn't immediately need to call a repair shop. So that would be my suggestion to the board. But I suggest the board discuss that and see how you would like to have that. I'll turn it back over to Brian.
Other than that, I think the request is pretty simple and straightforward. I'm glad to answer any questions. We have provided water table approvals, and you can see where the test pits were done on the property. And you'll see that they're somewhat in range with the house next door on 95D. The soils get better as you go back into the property. So that's why we did them back as far as we did. We have not done an OWTS design at this point in time, because no matter what we draw, it's going to be wrong. So we have water table approval. There's no wetlands nearby. If the board wants an OWTS before final approval, we will create it. However, again, it always ends up as an as-built because we never get it right. No matter what we propose, it's better to have the buyer first and customize it to their wants and needs. Other than that, I'll be glad to answer any questions, or Floyd is here with us as well. He's glad to answer it if need be.
Any members of the board have any questions for the applicant? I mean, you got some where some of you are more familiar, probably. Helen, you probably know that area a lot better than I do.
Yeah, when I didn't see a problem with creating that lot at all. And it was I was trying to figure out what I couldn't quite piece together with all of those different transactions in the early 90s, exactly what. It didn't make sense to me that it had been recombined. So I wasn't able to follow it, but now I do when Brian explained it. So to me, the survey looked, I could understand, completely what they were going to do. I would not surprise Brian to know that I was going to encourage, the location of the driveway to be right after the stone wall. There's a nice another little wall that goes in there, and it seemed to me it could be a nice feature there with some kind of planting or something. So I was going to encourage not going through the wall at all. But as Brian said, it's, the person who actually builds the house is going to decide, and the highway director will decide where the driveway is safe. So it, the whole lot, the whole survey looked good to me. How about other people?
Okay. Anyone else?
Just a clarification on the property. What's the total acreage of the property?
13.263 acres. Well, right now it's 18.263.
Right, because one's a 5 acre and one's a 13, right?
Yes.
Right.
So there's no frontage. Are the residences already completed?
On 95D, the 5 acre piece was built in 92 and 93. That is totally complete. and is on the market for sale if anyone has a friend. The 13-acre piece is raw land, which we're marketing as well.
Okay, so this is certainly within all of the requirements, as Helen stated. And what, I guess, to help, because we got so many new members on, and could you kind of just plain English explain why the owners had to appear again to get a change?
When I first started this project, I emailed probably the package you received from Michael to the old planner, asking if we could just recreate what existed in 1992. She was on her way out as planner, and she suggested I wait and have Michael review it as opposed to her, which we did, and he suggested that we should do it as a minor subdivision because we are technically creating 2 lots out of 1 at this point in time.
Is it now for the new members? Is everybody comfortable with that explanation?
Yes.
Okay.
This
I think it was nice to have Helen involved from the beginning to kind of give us some perspective on the fact that it is within our purview to make a motion for the combined preliminary and final plan decision. So at that point, Anthony, if you request that, I'd be more than happy to make that motion.
Go right ahead, Mike. I think everything's there, the frontages are there.
And do the rest of the members understand what's happened? Normally, you have a preliminary hearing and you look at the plans and you you see if there are any problems, and then it comes back as a proposal, and at that point you sort of give the final, or sometimes not even, sometimes there are 3 visits, depending on how problematic the lot is. In this case, it's not only not problematic, it was already a lot before. And so it doesn't seem, it seems like that would be unnecessary, and maybe the administrative officer can just take care of them.
I see no problem with it, Michael. So
Thank you, Helen, for all that contribution. And if it's okay with Anthony, I'll go ahead and read the motion as prepared by Mike.
go right ahead.
Okay.
Right ahead, Mike.
So whereas the applicant, Brian Carpenter, the representatives of the applicant and owners, Susan, Joan, Deaett, appeared before the planning board for properly located at 6 Anthony Road, being plat 14, lot 95D, on 18.2629 acres in an agricultural residential AR zoning district for a 2-lot minor subdivision with proposed septics, driveways, and 28-foot by 42-foot single-family dwelling with a 24-foot by 24-foot attached garage. And whereas the application was submitted and signed by Floyd Davis, acting power of attorney on behalf of Susan Joan Deaett, and whereas the planning board received reports and testimony from town departments and representatives of the applicant regarding the application, and whereas the development meets all zoning and setback requirements. Further, having considered the requirements of Rhode Island General Laws of 1956 as amended, section 452330, and based on the hearing conducted before the planning board on testimony presented to the board and recommendations of the staff, and review and consideration of the exhibits made part of the record and personal knowledge of the area in question. Now, therefore, the planning board of the town of Foster grants preliminary and final approval for the proposed 2-lot minor subdivision subject to the following conditions. Condition 1, combined preliminary and final plan approval is based on plans entitled Preliminary Minor Subdivision for Susan, Joan, and James B. Deaett, Assessors Plat 14, Lot 95D, dated July 2020, and revised August 31st, 2020. Prepared, stamped, and signed by Norbert A. Theron, registered professional land surveyor, and marked as Town Exhibit 1 at the October 7, 2020 Planning Board meeting. Condition 2, that any removal of the existing stone wall will be limited to what is necessary to construct the proposed driveway and may not exceed more than 5 linear feet on either side of the location of the driveway apron as depicted on the plan provided. Condition 3, the plan title shall be updated to reflect preliminary and final minor subdivision prior to endorsement and recording. Condition 4, associated deeds shall be recorded with the final plan. Condition 5, the proposed dwelling unit lots shall each require a driveway permit from the Foster Department of Public Works. Condition 6, payment in lieu of land dedication will be paid in full for one additional lot. The Planning Board further finds that the proposed development, subject to the conditions imposed, is consistent with the comprehensive community plan and has satisfactorily addressed the issues where there are inconsistencies in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws, Section 45-2330, is in compliance with the standards and provisions of the Foster zoning ordinance in accordance with the Rhode Island General Laws, Section 45-24, will cause no significant negative environmental impacts, will not create individual lots with any physical constraints to development, that building on those lots according to pertinent regulations and building standards would be impracticable, and 5, has adequate permanent physical access to public street development, provide for safe circulation, adequate surface water runoff, suitable building sites, preservation of features that contribute to the attractiveness of the community, and allows for adequate delivery of municipal services. 7, minimizes flooding and soil erosion. And a vote is appropriate.
Thank you, Michael.
Second.
Thanks, Michael. Can I, any discussion?
Needs a second, right?
Okay.
George, I'll
Second.
Thank
Got
you.
a second. Have discussion? No discussion. Can I have a roll call?
Yep. I lost my thing. Okay, Warren,
A definite deja vu, all affirmative.
okay. Mike,
Aye.
Hillary,
Aye.
David,
Aye.
George,
Aye.
I, Helen, Anthony.
Aye.
Mhm.
Okay. I guess, Mr. Carpenter, you're all set. And thank you. We'll be waiting for the future.
Can I?
Thank you very much.
Can I just ask, this is, forgive me, but seeing Mr. Davis, Mr. Davis, I don't know if you remember, but I had Christopher and knew Nicholas, and would like you to please give them my best regards. I was Christopher's 4th grade teacher, and he was a great kid, and so please would you give him my regards.
That's sweet.
She said she had one of the kids,
Christopher,
Christopher.
in the fourth grade.
Okay,
Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
We'll get a Mylar and
You
deeds.
back, Michael?
Yeah. Absolutely. Yes, I'm back. I'm gonna show these gentlemen out and I'll be right back.
We'll wait for you, Michael.
Well, Mike is out of the room. I just wanted to say, Mike has had a long day.
Can you speak to them?
Yeah, I'm not talking, but.
We're gonna move this right along. He lives in Worcester.
He
Yeah.
lives in Worcester and he's got high wind warnings.
Yeah, I don't know how
in front
bad
of
they
him.
got beat up. You're right, Helen, and I got a debate tonight. I gotta go and practice because I'll be debating against my Republican counterparts that are all at the meeting tonight, just in case I have to, I gotta go practice.
Okay.
I'm out of my mind. Bob, what do you want to have a
When you
debate?
argue with
about?
yourself,
Me and you,
Anthony.
huh?
When you argue with yourself, Anthony, who wins?
Okay.
Anthony, when's the debate?
The debate?
Yeah.
I'll be over in about half hour. We'll have coffee and a debate, me and Bob.
All right, Michael is back. Do we want to move on to the next agenda item?
Yeah. Gotta cut that right off, huh, Joanna?
Go ahead, Joanna.
So we have the site plan review for 15 Plainfield Pike, Assessors Plat 19, Lot 9. And I believe Mr. Brewer, the applicant, is here.
Yes, he is.
Mr. Brewer, okay. Michael, if you want to, like I said, everything's wiped right out of my computer. I'm winging this right
Oh,
now.
sure. Yeah, so this is, I'll just read the agenda item. Agenda item G, site plan review for 15 Plainfield Pike, Assessors Plat 19, Lot 9. And this is for a variance application. So the board will, Mr. Brewer has proposed, there's an existing mobile home on the site. And it's a 0.5 acre site. Mr. Brewer is proposing to construct a single family detached dwelling on the site, replacing the existing mobile dwelling unit. And so he seeks variances from the zoning board of review for setbacks, as it is the terminology is a existing. I always get confused with the terminology between Massachusetts and Rhode Island. What is it? Substandard lot of record. Substandard lot of record. I remembered it now.
Pre-existing lot of record.
We call it pre-existing non-conforming in Massachusetts.
That's right.
But and so I'll hand it over to Mr. Brewer, I guess, through the chair.
Yes, sir. This one's going to be, why don't you, Mr. Brewer, you're here, why don't you, I just got all that stuff. So your setbacks that you're changing, you want to just describe what you want to do here?
Yeah, so I don't know if you guys remember this from last year. I had put forth an application last year to replace the mobile home with another mobile home and relocate it on the property. And that wasn't doable because the zoning regulations don't only allow that exact unit to be replaced exactly where it is.
I remember now.
So that unit's only 6 feet off the rear property line. So I looked at that and I was going to do it. And I met with Rhett and, we looked at some plans and we picked one, but it's not really practical to put another mobile home on that lot for another 50 years. That one was put there in 1969. It's difficult to find a mobile home unit that's exactly like that one and blah, blah, blah. So I looked at it and I said, I'd much rather have a small little house with a nice foundation, a nice basement anyways. So, after sitting on it for a year and trying to figure out what I wanted to do, I decided that is what I'd like to do is build a single family house on the pre-existing non-conforming lot. That's going to require 2 setback requirements. It's positioned I positioned it similarly to how I was going to position the new mobile home on the lot. The actual, the relief with the, let me just get my drawing out here. Here it is. So the closest it would come to the side, if you're looking to the west, 42 feet, where I believe it's 50 feet is the requirement. And we'd increase the rear setback from 6 feet, or not 9 feet, actually it was 9 feet, to 27 feet, and then turn it 90 degrees. So it would meet the setback requirements to the east and to the street side. It would just be those two sides. It has to, the reason I want to keep it as tight as I can over on that side is the septic system, is the approved septic system, new septic system. Look at my drawing, because it's a small lot, it's it takes up a lot of space. And the driveway's already existing, and that allows the driveway not to have to be relocated. I don't know if you guys are familiar with the area. It's the first house going east from Isthmus Road. So it's actually significantly below the street.
Yeah, it goes down, right?
Yes. So there's to relocate the driveway, you'd have to somehow build that bank up to bring that driveway closer to Plainfield Pike, which would give that a sharper depth there. And if I moved it back, it would be on top of the septic system, where the septic system's proposed to be. And that has to be that 100 feet away from the well, which it just makes the way they designed it. So basically, I guess to sum it up is I would much rather see a new size appropriate home on the lot than to put another mobile home there for another 50 years. I don't know that I have 50 years left, but somebody might. The lot dates back to at least 1922. Not further. That's as far back as I researched to make sure that the lot was in fact pre-existing before the zoning went into effect in 1967. Any questions? I'll be happy to answer them.
Can I make a suggestion? I know all that we are doing really is making a recommendation to the zoning board. And I have to say, I'm so pleased to hear that you're actually, this is a personal opinion, but I'm so pleased to hear that you're actually going to, build a more permanent and maybe practical living space. So that seems good. But it's very hard looking at the plat map, at the drawing. It's very hard to understand exactly, where everything is really. And so have you considered getting a survey?
Well, I did this. There's actually, and I wish I had it, because there's actually granite markers, which I'm pretty surprised. So all these measurements are taken right from the granite markers, which was a big help to me. When I was going through this last year, and I did this thing and explained that to the previous planning official in town, she was okay with it. Knowing that at the appropriate time when we pull permits, we're going to have it exactly located by an engineer.
Can I ask a question?
Sure.
I'm looking at the I think, Mike, it's the memo that you drafted about the site plan variance in the description. And there was a table in there that says front yard setback proposed 27 and rear setback 58. And I feel like that's reversed.
It is reversed.
Okay, so it's not just me.
No, it's not, Hillary.
So it's actually, so the front setback is actually 27 feet from Plainfield Pike.
No, the front setback is 58. The rear setback from the rear property line is 27.
Okay, so So the plan is correct, but your table's wrong.
So when I was looking at it, the way that the map is drawn, Plainfield Pike is written down at the bottom. So I think I assumed that that was the road, and I was looking at the frontage there.
That is
that's right.
the road.
That is the road.
Plainfield Pike is on the north side of the property.
That's correct.
And he has its 58-foot setback from there.
That's correct.
The table is reversed.
Yeah, it's just the table's
So,
wrong.
it's just the
Okay,
table, yeah.
because that would have been sort of scary, 27 feet from the road. 58.
Especially with that corner and everything else. I agree.
Yes. Drive by it all the time.
You like the lights on at night?
Anyone else have any questions?
I've got a question. The unit that's there now, is that a rental unit or do you live there?
I haven't lived there since I purchased it.
Yep. Is it occupied or?
Not presently. When Janice sold it to me, she her father had passed away, and she went to take care of her mother in Coventry.
Okay, thank you.
Do you plan on living in it?
Yeah, I just sold my house on 501 Field Hill Road. I just closed on it last week.
Oh, congratulations.
I very, very well may. That's where I raised my kids, and I've actually had quite a. I can't believe it, but I've done 14 homes in Cleveland.
Wow.
I moved in there with my kids and raised them there in 1985, including I did all the renovations to the Clayville Post Office, turning it back into a 2-room, 2-door boys and girls door entry. Yep. Donated all that stuff years ago.
Anybody have any concerns? I hate to cut you off. Anybody have any concerns with this proposal?
And
I think it'd be better to have a house there than a trailer. I mean, if it's going to be, it's going to keep going on as a trailer, why not?
So if I could just jump in, the board should consider what you will be recommending the site plan should show or should not show. You're looking at sort of the design of what is provided to you in that site plan, and the recommendation should, what you were like Helen suggested. Do you want to make a motion to suggest that a Class 1 survey be done prior to going to zoning board of review? You can make that motion. I mean, and then the zoning board of review will take that information when they are deciding on the application.
Before we go that far, can I ask a question first, please? I'm just curious. I don't see on the sketch where the new septic system is going to be, or are you using your existing septic system?
Well, when they did the soils, they did them in the existing spot where they are. If you have that in front of you.
Yeah, I'm looking at
if you see where it says to be removed.
Yep.
That whole area where you see 71 feet, that whole area is the septic system.
My concern with the project, I kind of agree with David, a permanent home versus a trailer, so forth and so on, but that could be pros and cons. Some think the other way. My only concern with it is setting a precedence on substandard lots here in the town, where I think that's a concern, and we really had an ordinance about this. We do have an ordinance about substandard lots. So that would be my only concern. It is a small lot. I mean, it's a half acre, isn't it, total?
Yeah.
From what I see here.
It's half an acre.
It's a half acre, correct?
Correct.
Yes. I don't know if you guys can see this. This is the approval from the state for the septic system, and it takes up that whole corner that I had tried to explain what was on the map.
That would be
the southeast corner of the lot.
Is there a way to move that forward a little bit?
Towards the road?
Yeah.
That's where it gets into the driveway.
And the only reason I ask is if you look at the wetlands map, we have an ordinance, a zoning ordinance in town where we have to be 100 feet from wetlands edge, and I'd have to look at it and check the measurements. One of the things I liked about how when you were moving the house, it actually increased your distance within that 100-foot zone, but the existing property, because it was before that ordinance, was encroaching on that 100 feet. So I don't know if there's a concern of there being a septic system within that 100-foot setback.
George, I think I'm struggling to find exactly that. I know it's somewhere in the site plan review ordinance, but I think that specific criteria is specific to commercial site plan review.
Okay.
I would have thought DEM would have brought that up, but I don't know.
Well, it's a local ordinance. Not the DEP. I'm sorry to cut you off, George. I was just saying it's a local ordinance George is referring to, not a
Gotcha.
DEM
Okay.
requirement.
Right.
Understood.
Yeah.
No, I just, without an actual, there the drawings are here and the, sort of plat map-ish picture. It's very hard for me to know how, I am in favor of building a house, it's a pre-existing lot. I think it's a very good idea to put a house, you've already done the DEM, work of, starting the septic approval. But you can't really tell, where what is, and you can't tell the grading. I know that it's very steep downhill from the front. So I guess I'm just going to say again, I think it would be a really good idea to get a survey. I know we all hate spending money on anything unnecessary, but it seems like it would help. I don't know how the zoning board of review would be able to make a determination without that. Or they're probably more clever than me.
Can I ask another quick question about so the current septic system, so this proposed septic system that you just showed is a new design, a new system, not in the same location as the previous one?
It's in the same location, but the previous one is a cesspool.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
So it's in the same, it's in the same places where the cesspool is, but it's going to take up a whole lot more space than a cesspool.
Yes. I was just going to say, because it said that the mobile home was installed in 1969, and if they were just operating a septic system there that long, yeah, pretty surely to fail.
Warren, did you have something?
It wouldn't meet today's standards. Under the standards of having to do within 1 year or whatever it is, it had, has to be. It's an Elgin system that was designed. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that, but that's what was put forth to DEM.
Just one second, Peter. I guess Warren.
Yeah, Mr. Brewer, for the size and the property, do you kind of assert that this is the least variance necessary to put a usable, sellable house on that property?
Yes, it's the rear yard setback and side yard setback. The feet are pretty much, I mean, I could be closer to the back line like it is now, but to have adequate room for the septic system and everything else, the side setback is about the best I can do, because I got the well there.
Yeah.
And back on top of the well.
That's going to be kind of one of the criteria to get your variance at the zoning board, that you're asking for the least review that you need.
Yes.
And whether or not you provide the planning board with a survey, you're sure going to have to provide one to the building inspector, because
yes,
it's not like you got 20, 30 extra feet to the setback.
Correct.
The numbers are going to have to be substantially correct. And if the zoning board gives you a variance that says you're 27 feet from a line,
you got
don't have a class 4 survey, your house is going to get smaller.
Mhm. Right.
Well, you're going to be
Right.
back for 20 feet from the line. So those are, and familiar with that residence. I knew somebody that lived there at one time, and it's a challenging site, to say the least, with the grades and the.
Well, that brings up, just because I know from when we built on our first 5 acres here, we had to get a variance for our septic system being too close to the property line. And then we bought that property anyway, but
Right.
that's another thing, that a survey with the proposed ISDS system shown on it would
I
be.
think that the most of the setbacks that we have are 200 feet to a water stream, right, that are superior to DEM regulations. Because
Of wells.
DEM allows you to go 10 feet to a property line, and so does Foster.
Really?
Yeah.
For septic system?
Yeah, well, you have to be so far from, yeah, he's going to have to maintain his well
It has to
distances.
be 100 feet from his well.
Yes.
But because the whole point, my understanding before anyway, was that the side setbacks were to protect your neighbors from, because I think you can have your well anywhere on your property, but your septic system had to be, back in 1990 or whatever it was, or 1988, had to be, I thought, 100 feet. That was the whole point with the 300-foot minimum width on lots,
That was
so that you had a 100-foot side setback for septic systems.
No,
It was a 100-foot side back for agricultural uses to keep wells done. And at one time, the planning board looked at, in order to keep the 100 feet from wells and leach fields extremely compatible, we looked at a 50-foot setback everywhere. So that if you stayed 50 feet and your neighbor stayed 50 feet, you were 100 feet from everything.
That's right.
But if you really want to aggravate your neighbor and make his land unbuildable, you put a well 2 feet from your property line, which you can do.
Yeah, I think so.
that would aggravate somebody.
And the this type of variance is for a substandard lot of record. There were several that the planning board I was on did along North Road, the smaller lots in the village complex. It's a very typical, very necessary variance, and as long as they maintain the lease and don't make it unreasonable, I would think that the board should be in favor of something like this.
Like I said, Michael, his next move, my concern is, I'm sure there are a lot of substandard lots throughout the town. Okay, and if this sets a precedent, I think we would be opening up a door to a whole bunch of people wanting to come in here and propose homes on substandard lots. As much as I'd rather see a home on a substandard lot than a trailer, but that's just, like I said, my preference. It doesn't matter. It's not what I say. But I mean, to get, to make them for the next step forward, a recommendation from, what should his next step be, Joanna?
So the board, the board can, the next step would be that you have to issue a recommendation to the zoning board of review. And the recommendation needs to, you guys need to essentially consider the elements that are necessary for granting a variance. But if the board feels that you cannot make a recommendation at this time because you do not have enough information, I know that several people have talked about a survey, and one of the elements is that you need to, in granting the variance, is that the applicant needs to show that the piece of land can't, there's no other beneficial use, and that this is the least restrictive means. So without a survey and without having access to the documents where the septic has to be located, can you make a finding or a recommendation that this is the least relief necessary and this is the only thing that will make this lot usable? You can ask the applicant to come back to you with the survey or with anything else that you'd like, or you can send it along with a recommendation that the zoning board require one. And I will say that it is typically required for a variance application to the zoning board. He will need to have one.
Can I make a motion?
Who asked that?
Mike.
Mike
Oh,
Carpenter.
I'm sorry, Michael. Go ahead.
I would then make, based on what Joanna just defined and clarified, I would make a motion for the board that we move the request to the zoning board and require a class 1 survey for their consideration.
Yes.
Would that be accurate, Joanna?
Yes, but the board will also need to make some findings as far as your recommendation in the affirmative or not, based on the elements required for a variance.
Yes, I think we should state the elements required. My motion would then be that we state the elements required for a variance and move the proposal forward to the zoning board, stating that they only consider this variance if a class 1 survey has been completed.
Recommending approval or not recommending approval?
Recommending approval.
I have a second. Is that a motion? Is that a full motion that Michael just made?
Well, it sort of is.
Warren,
Okay, okay. All right.
you're mute, Warren. I can't hear you.
I'll do second.
Okay, thank you, Warren.
A second. Can I have a roll call on that, Helen? Any discussion? Roll call, Helen?
Okay, sorry, hold on 1 minute.
Okay.
Okay. Warren,
Affirmative.
Mike Carpenter,
Affirmative.
Hillary,
Affirmative.
David,
Yes.
George,
Aye.
me, yes, Anthony.
I'm going to abstain from this.
Okay. Understand. Okay, so that would be 6-0-1 with Anthony abstaining in favor of sending this to the zoning board with a positive recommendation and the conditions of a class 1 survey and meeting the elements that he needs to address.
And Peter, I'll be in contact with you to get coordinated for the next zoning board meeting.
Hey,
And
surveyor out there just as quick as I can.
then Mr. Brewer, say hey to your neighbor, Bob and Sandy.
Well. All right, have a good night, people. I gotta go shut my generator off.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, good night.
Anthony, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Anybody? Just from a learning standpoint, if someone already had a building, we were worried about the substandard lot, but if someone already had a building there, what would, the only thing they could do is replace the building with something like that building, like you said in the beginning? How would that impact?
To be honest with you, George, I don't think we could really discuss this right now.
Oh, we're not allowed to.
Joanna was going to say something. Is that what you were going to say, Joanna?
Well, no, I was just going to clarify what Mr. Brewer was talking about at the beginning. He had, mobile homes are a prohibited use in Foster.
Right.
His mobile home was grandfathered, so it was a non-conforming use. You can essentially replace, or if it was damaged or needed to, but it has to be the same thing, same footprint. You can't move it 2 feet. So that's what he was trying to explain, that he essentially wanted to put another mobile home, but put it the other way and it was a little bit bigger, but he couldn't do that. So that would clarify what he was talking about.
Okay, so if this isn't related specifically to him, so, if there was the concern with substandard lots and developing of substandard lots is a valid concern. But are we talking about substandard lots that already have an existing home? Or are we talking about substandard lots that have no home on it now? And would a precedence like this set a precedence for for a substandard lot without a house?
any substandard lot, anytime you need to do something on a substandard lot, A, you're not required to meet the square footage, and B, you have to apply for the variance, and it's a case by case. And if you look at the elements of a variance, it has to, and we did not necessarily go through all of them, but it has to be due to the unique characteristics of the land, not anything that the landowner did. It needs to be the only beneficial use, not just the highest and best. And it needs to be the least restrictive relief. So it's not like it's a free-for-all, but you can't, essentially, if our zoning said, okay, you can only build a house on a 5-acre lot and your lot was only 2 acres when zoning came in, that would be a taking. If you then said, okay, well, now you don't have a buildable lot, too bad for you. So that's basically it.
Basically, if passing something like this happens zoning, it wouldn't set a precedence for other substandard lots without a home.
Nope,
Okay.
it's a case by case.
Case by case. I was just curious.
But it would allow other people to take a shot at it.
Yeah, I mean, does it advertise it so people know about it? Sure, but it's not,
Yeah.
People have come before.
I'd say legally, yeah, well, what Joan is saying, yeah, legally it doesn't set precedent, but realistically, Anthony, from your perspective, yeah, I understand what you're saying. It can it sets a visual precedence, I'll say, you know what I mean? So that's the optics of it.
Right. Okay, Joanna, what's next on the agenda?
Next is revising prohibited uses in zoning, revising the prohibited uses list.
Remaining things are things that I think Anthony.
Yes, go ahead. Helen, make a motion.
I think Mike had sent something in for everybody to look at. So I don't know if you wanted to talk about that.
Mike, can we look at what you, the two things that Michael Antonella sent? One is from Mike Carpenter, and I would like a chance to look that over. And the other is the recommendations from the Economic Development Advisory Commission, which I would like to have a chance to look over. So can we put those to a future meeting?
One already is.
Right, one already is.
So Helen, somebody wants to make a motion to continue H and I to the next meeting. Is that what you're looking for?
If that's possible.
Yeah. Does anybody want to make that motion?
That's why I said, Helen, make the motion.
I can't. I'm the secretary.
So anybody else?
I'll make a motion.
Okay, thank you.
I think we're making a motion to move items H and I to a later meeting.
Yeah.
Do a second on that?
That's Warren.
Warren.
Warren, sorry.
Okay, let's see.
Boy, you're quick with that roll call, aren't you, Helen? Go ahead.
Okay, Warren.
Affirmative.
Mike Carpenter.
Affirmative.
Hillary.
Affirmative.
David.
Yes.
George.
Yes.
Me, yes. And Anthony?
Yes.
Okay.
Anthony, she was doing it for you so you can get practicing that debate you're going to need to practice on.
Yeah, they got to practice.
Thinking of you.
You better practice.
Okay.
Mr. Chair, may I make a comment?
Go right ahead.
Fortunate that this motion was made because the information I provided regarding airstrips and what we reduced the private airstrip. I did not type Mike Antonellis. Did you get that handwritten description I gave of the private
on the
airstrip?
back.
So if it's okay with the board, I would provide a formal copy via email to everyone of that handwritten piece, so that if we have now made a motion to consider this at a future meeting, everyone will have something in their file. Is that okay, Mr. Chair?
Sure. I kind of like reading your scribble, though.
Yeah.
But
it makes it interesting, kind of.
I guess just so everyone knows, our concern was that we probably would like to consider allowing an airstrip or a helipad for wealthy folks who may have those means of transportation. We didn't have a reference. I found a reference for airstrip in Flight Facts with all the FAR references, and I found a published heliport, private heliport description published by the state of Kentucky. So I'd just like everyone to look forward to the time when we reconsider these issues. And we'll be looking at documents that could be useful in helping us make a decision. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Michael, for doing that.
Hey, Mike, on the single engine Cessna, it says it has to be at least, is that 300 or 3,000 by 60 feet?
Can I, hello, can I interrupt just for a minute?
I asked a question.
Yeah, no, can we send Michael Antonellis home? He doesn't need to.
Yeah, Mike can wait 1 second. I'm asking this Mike a question, and then we'll end the meeting. A quick question, just so I know. Is that 3,000 or 300?
3,500 feet.
Got it. That's it. Okay. We can, if somebody wants to adjourn the meeting, we can adjourn the meeting, and we can continue this on. Michael's got to go to Worcester. Hope everything's okay there in Worcester, Michael.
I think it is. Thanks.
Thanks for staying late.
Oh, no worries. Anytime.
Okay. Helen?
Tomorrow, Mike.
And just, I want
See you tomorrow, yeah.
I want to thank Michael Antonellis. Michael stayed because the applicants for the subdivision didn't have internet connection and couldn't do Zoom. So that's why Michael is here in Foster and still has to drive all the way home at 8, whatever it is now, 12, through hopefully not too gusty conditions. But thanks, you, Michael. Mike. That was really nice of you.
Very nice.
Michael, on your way up there, Michael, I noticed you have a small car. When I was there, on your way out, pick up a couple of boulders, put them in the trunk.
Anthony, I think your car could eat my car.
All right. Helen, do I have a motion to adjourn? Someone?
I'll motion to adjourn.
Thank you, George.
Second.
Second.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Everybody have a good night. Michael.
Good night, everyone.
That was unanimous, I think, right?
Yeah, just mark it down. All right.
Good night, everybody.
Thank you.
8:13, safe trip home, Mike.
Thank you.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.
I'll see some of you tomorrow night, I'm sure.
Anthony, I'll put the coffee on.
We just had, who asked me for coffee?
I did.
Oh, you want me to, I'll be right down. We'll have a little debate over the debate.
All right. I'm ending it. Good night, everyone.
Good night, Michael.